Hi everyone! I hope you're doing well and are having a good summer so far. So far so good on my end. I have this 1 week break for Bayram and I wanted to catch you up on some of the things that I've been up to. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been teaching for Karam House. It's a community center established for Syrians in Turkey. And I've been teaching for this past year and it's been a wonderful experience, and now we kind of shifted online. The cool thing about Karam House is there's a partnership with a company called Nouvu. They're alternative high school in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And it's basically a different way of conceptualizing high school. It's really cool. I'll put a link on it, and if you're interested in something like that, just check it out. They're using that platform, the Nouvu platform, for facilitating the classes. And we were using that even before COVID had started, so they were really like on the ball on that one. So it made the transition from physical space to the online space actually not so bad because we had a place where students can upload their videos and their content and their stories, and then I could also bombard them with all these videos and lessons, online lessons. I use this camera for crafting my lessons in addition to the synchronous live, not on Zoom, but you know, something comparable. Once I came back from America, I just like hit the floor running, trying to figure out how to be an online teacher, because it's not as easy as people think, and actually it's very, 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 very hard, and it requires a lot of time and effort, and you have to do this all day and like edit, and it's a good thing I went to film school because I don't know how other people would do this. I researched a lot about it, and there were studies about how synchronous and asynchronous kind of work well on online classes. So there's this one university that got a whole bunch of awards. I forgot if it's like Arizona University, but they've been online for a while. So I took a look at what they were doing, and they did this combination. So I've been doing this combination. I wanted to give my students like a good experience. Be engaging so that the students don't find me boring. And then the cool thing about being an online teacher now, instead of just going physically to the Karam House in Fatih, I'm doing it from my room, right? You'll notice that I have a new whiteboard, and I'll show this part later, but Javed built me some shelves, which are really cool. The online shift actually opened up the possibility of reaching more kids. Not kids, they're students, but I'll use that word interchangeably. I don't know why. Anyway, they're students, but they're not kids either. They're teenagers. They're most of them are 17 years old, my favorite age. And so this shift from being physically present in the Fatih Karam House to going online enabled me access to more people from different places, which is really awesome. So this summer I have been teaching students that are logging in from Reyhanlı, from Hatay, which is where the first Karam House was built, right next to the Syrian border, and so that's where they're logging in from. So doing these classes online has been tricky because what I try to facilitate is this safe space for people to tell very deep stories. I ask them to be reflective of what they've experienced, what their philosophy is moving forward. They're deep topics, some of them are very traumatic. And so that safety, the safety that you need to be able to like freely just let go and take that jump of vulnerability was more in my control, I felt, in that Fatih community center, because I'm physically there and I set the stage and they know what I mean and I could see it in their eyes that they get it. And so I'm taking that same course, basically the meat of that course, and I'm doing it online, and it was so tricky the first session. And it was a steep learning curve for me, that's for sure. I probably learned more from that class than they learned from me, but it's tricky because I was running up against two big hurdles. One was there's a aura of alhamdulillah, inshallah, mashallah, there was just this feeling like they were hopeful for the future, that there was going to be a return to a normal, but that like this inshallah, this hopefulness, God willingness of it all, like the culture, was preventing them from taking real steps to cultivating an atmosphere that's conducive for online learning in their homes. And this was a huge problem. Like, I did not realize how unwilling to embrace this new life they would be. It's actually not an unwillingness, it's just this hopefulness that was blocking them from taking real steps, tangible things. So I made them do these signs. It was like a pre-lesson lesson, like before they even stepped into the virtual classroom, they were making these signs. I give these as examples, like when I'm meditating, I ask Javit to just leave me alone. And then when I'm also teaching classes. Because, there's a negotiation that you have to do inside your home, Arctic. I make them do that, and then I ask them, please talk to your moms and dads and your siblings, because, geez, there's a lot of siblings, and they're like little kids just running around and inside and outside the frame. And it's like, how are you going to do your physics lessons if you've got all this chaos that you're dealing with too? It's tough, but it's not doable. So I asked them, please make that space so that you can lay the bricks down for a year maybe, just in case. I don't like to be doom and gloom, but just in case your school doesn't open back up, that you've laid the foundation at least so that you can continue learning. Because some of those students can't afford to lose another year. Some of them have lost years because of the war, and wrapping your mind around the reality and then doing concrete things to get yourself in a space that's good for learning, I think that's a good, healthy first step. Then, the second hurdle during that first lesson, they wouldn't turn on their cameras. And it's like you're telling these huge stories that are weighty, and they require care, like extreme care, because some of the stories are huge, and it's just the first lesson, people weren't turning on their cameras, and it's like, dude, if you're gonna tell a story, I need to see your eyes, I need feedback, I need to feel your energy so I can give you my empathy or my support or whatever I need to give you, or if I laugh, that relationship with the camera, the relationship with the mute button. There was really cool things that I did though. In America, I observed some of my professors at USC, and I wanted to go back into the classroom to see how they teach, because I had gone through those lessons but as a student, so I was just trying to learn animation. Now seeing how they dispel their ideas and how they convey it to the students and the activities that they do, it was really, really useful. Thank you to all of the teachers that let me be a part of their class. One of my favorite classes when I was doing my master's was Sheila Sofyan's documentary animation. And before the class even started, what she did was she had the students observe a minute of silence, because everybody comes from traffic and comes from here and there and whatever, and just to let all of that sink away so that you can fall into the groove of the class. I mean, I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I kind of took that idea, and then I took a part of Priya Parker's podcast idea, which is titled Together Apart, which is a play off of this essay. There's a beautiful piece about being alone together or being together apart. And I loved these two ideas and what they meant, and it was just a beautifully written. And so before all my classes, I had them unmute themselves at least for a minute, and then we could listen to everybody, and I called that practice being virtually together apart. And getting all of those sound bits, people, little kids screaming and crying, a mom yelling, "Why didn't you take out the trash?" And then, you know, birds chirping, kamyons going, the mosque sounds. Some of them live very close to a big mosque, and it's like there. That was a beautiful moment that we all shared together, and at least everybody was engaged then. It was really difficult to pull those kids, that first section, out of the abyss of, you know, the black void, and like, get out of there and just show me your face. I don't care if the video quality is bad, you know, just do that. So what I did was, for the second session, to not repeat that same, I basically threw out all the video that I had spent days making. And then I revamped the entire lesson plan. And I'm doing so this time too, because it's never perfect. It's always an iterative process. Basically what I teach them in my class is that iterative process is so important, and I'm doing it myself. So I'm just getting better and better as I go. And it feels great because this second session was, it was great. And I felt what I felt in that classroom when I was physically going. And there was some really amazing pieces. I wish I could share it with you because they're just jaw-droppingly amazing. The thing about this storytelling and animation as a pair is they've gone through so much in life. Surviving a war, moving to a different country, none of that is easy. And animation also, it's complicated, it's cumbersome, so you have to make sure that what you're saying is worth it, you know, because you have a blank page and you have to make sure that you've picked exactly what it is you mean. And we start this dive into ourselves, like a self-reflection, our philosophies. There's a heavy component of critical thinking, which makes me the most excited about this. And so taking that critical look at what's happening and what you want to tell the world. And just the fact that somebody's saying to them, your voice matters, use your voice and distill what you want to say. And animation can be a tool to distill what it is you want to say. And because you're going to be drawing the same things over and over and over again, because it's very repetitive, it gives you that stillness, that space to really reflect. Susan Sontag reminds us and advises aspiring writers to pay attention to the world, as it's one of the most important things that you could do as a storyteller. So there's that reflectiveness, and then like the pieces, they're to die for. They get to these truths that are so special, and I would love to share these pieces with you, but it's complicated because, you know, I don't want to invade their privacy, and but anyway, they just blow my mind. They blew me away. And I've had, like, it must have been 40 students so far, and a lot of them go to Imam Hatip high schools, so that critical thinking component is so critical for me. And I'm just like basically on cloud nine. To engage with 17-year-olds is, it's amazing, and they give me this energy, and I'm now using that energy for creating my own animation, and I'll have more on that. I was so lucky to go to USC right before like LA really started locking down. I was there, and my wonderful professors, Lisa Mann, for example, she also allowed me to observe her class. And I remember, I'll bring something, 1 second. I remember not knowing really anything about animation before I stepped into USC, and I remember the magic of seeing this turn in her class, like the Zoetrope assignment. So she gave me an extra Zoetrope, which I had no idea was so, it seemed so formal to me when I had seen it, but this is actually an ice cream carton that she got from Baskin Robbins, and she was able to give me an extra one, which was so awesome. And I was in the airport, and I took such care of this because, you know, like if this gets bent, how are you gonna unbend it? And because it's so delicate. Anyway, I painted it black, did the slits, made the example ones for the students, and I'm sad that, you know, I got this whole thing here, but they can't like actually physically turn it and see what their strips were like. I did an example too. But anyway, so that we do this in a, I get the point across with this. But seeing it physically, there's no replacement for that. But this was really cool. I got so many things from America that I can't use. Like I got them flip books that they can use. And now we're just like tying string with note cards, which is fine too. I mean, but I just wanted to, by the way, I am looking forward to being in the physical classroom, but I think that this is working, and I think it's going to get better with time, and I really am looking forward to expanding this even to maybe adults, even younger kids too maybe. I don't know. This is working. The community center is also another thing that I've been constantly engaged with in my mind, and I have some fantastic friends that are giving me so much good feedback. I met with Ruthie, one of my classmates from USC who lives in Washington DC, and she told me about UX design, so I kind of took a deep dive into UX design and realized I'm not a UX designer. But doing these things and wearing all the hats for this new adventure with the community center, it has been very informative, and I've been reading lots of books which have kept me going in terms of inspiration and where the root of this community center will be. Now we're just trying to shift that into the digital space is my goal, and it's going really well. This class has been so rewarding. So those are my updates, and I apologize for not making more videos, but I have been making so many videos from the other end that it just takes so much effort that I didn't have enough energy to give you. The feedback that I get from the students is very good, and even the assistant told me that, you know, that this class changed his life, which was a fantastic thing to hear. We read poetry, David White, you know, these simple poems that are so meaningful and reflective. And I feel like everything that I've been doing, like all the books that I've been reading, all the podcasts that I've been listening to, everything that I studied in school, just not in animation, but also political philosophy, conflict resolution, all these things are kind of culminating in this way in these classes, and it just makes me feel like I'm doing something real with purpose, and it's helpful, and I don't want to stop this. Although we didn't go to Kansas or Texas, we did get to see a lot of you, and it was really nice to catch up. I don't know when we're going to be able to go next, and I really hope that if you're in America, you're keeping safe and don't get down. I watch everything from afar and I can't believe my eyes. If you ever need to escape, you can always come to Istanbul. Who would have thought I would be saying that? But yeah, it's just be safe and be careful. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too boring or long. It's fantastic to have you guys still on board. I know I lost a few people with COVID. Hopefully they'll come back. Thank you for sticking with me. You guys are giving me the energy and the resources to like get the flip books, you know, do all of these things, because it's not really valued, the work that I do at all. So thank you. Peace and happiness. Ta-da!